The co-host you are looking for is not available. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please hang the podcast up and try again.
Welcome to the Tuck Shop Podcast. I am as always, Matt Cernell, coming to you from the campus here at UPJ. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host of every week, Kim Dorchak. Kim, hello.
Good morning.
You're not David.
No, I'm not. Thanks for noticing.
Jeez. David is away on assignment. That's actually probably a pretty good way to put it, knowing what's going on. But we didn't want to not do something because today's a really cool, exciting day. We're launching this huge, big project. I'm also joined by Stacy Roberts from our business department.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm back.
And Nathan, who was glad to... you didn't know what you were signing up for when you said you wanted an internship with the alumni. You can't shake your head on an audio podcast.
I think I can. It's a pleasure to be here, Matt.
Hopefully by now, if you followed along on the social media, you've seen that today is the launch of the UPJ Alumni First Initiative. This is a thing that has been kind of stewing in David and I's brain for 2 years now, probably.
Yeah, you've been talking about this for a while.
And it started from the idea that, if you follow that social media, we get people coming, and once a week David finds an alumni business or somebody submits it, somebody who owns it or runs it or hires a lot of UPJ alumni to run their business, to provide a service, to do all kind of different things. Once a week, those get featured. And I started thinking about the idea of community and how we'll see it in a lot of businesses, in communities. What do you see? Business directories, Chamber of Commerce's, that is like, hey, this is how these pieces fit together. Support your local, whatever it is. Well, UPJ alum are a community in itself.
Right.
And we started thinking about it and saying, why don't we have something where alumni can support other alumni, just like we would encourage you to support your own local community for anything else. And that gave birth to this. And then we sat for a year and a half because, I wanted to start a podcast and David had to co-host, and he actually has like a full-time job other than this. I pretend I have a full-time job other than this. And we came up, then it dawned on me. And Stacy, I think you sent out an email saying, I have people who need interns.
Call for internships, yeah. We try to do that every semester, so you
free labor.
took advantage of it.
And that's how we got Nathan. Let's start with that process first, because I think beyond just the Alumni First Business Directory and that initiative we're going to kind of talk about is, what does that from the academic side mean for these internships? Like, how does that come about? What does that mean for students, and what's the benefit?
So internships are extremely valuable to our students for a couple of different reasons. One, it's that hands-on real-world experience that, we teach them the basics in class, and we try to do as much hands-on activity that we can in class, but there's limitations, right? You have so many students. There's only so much time in the semester trying to get in curriculum and real world. So giving internships really gets students out into, corporate America and the opportunity to get that hands-on experience with somebody, quite honestly, other than faculty who, they're so comfortable with. We want to kind of push them out of their comfort zone to make sure that they can kind of adapt to different environments. So we're kind of working on streamlining it a little bit for all of our majors. And one of the things that I'm hoping we can generate a little bit from this podcast is I'm starting to put together an email distribution list of companies who might be interested in interns in the future. So what I'll do is I'll send out an email at the beginning of the fall semester and just kind of check in with people. Are you interested in interns, this year? Or are you not? So hopefully we can kind of get some, people to participate in that in addition to the folks we already have. So in addition to that real world kind of experience, I always tell our students, no experience is a bad experience, because even if you have a bad experience, you know now what you don't want to do. So, I've had some students that they've actually had a couple experiences or internships, and they're just like, I thought I wanted to do this, and now I don't. I didn't like the environment, or they didn't like just the actual work, but it kind of prompted to something else. And I said, well, that's actually a really good experience, because now you know that you don't want to do that full time. So something different for them. So from an academic standpoint, students can get credit as an elective. So they can get up to 3 credits. So it's about 50 hours per credit. So most internships are 150 hours for fall, spring semester. Some students even do them over the summer, and we can apply credits there. Some are paid internships, some are not. So a bunch of variety. We kind of let it be flexible with the host company to whatever to meet their needs. We just emphasize this isn't just a stuffing envelopes, getting coffee kind of internship, right? This is a hands-on. They have to have tangible projects and tasks that are meaningful for their curriculum.
That's good, because this is a massive. When we started thinking about this and put this whole concept together, and it's just like I can't talk about, and I can't put into words how excited I think this could be for so many things, and how we're going to be able to support these businesses and kind of go from there. Nathan, why did you decide to do an internship?
In all honesty, I was looking for something to do, and I would really take anything. But I was just kind of interested in being part of like a program like this to help out with something that seemed like that actually had some tangible results. And putting together a database with being by like researching businesses and finding out all the specific information we needed out of them sounded like something I hadn't tried before, and it would be good to do.
And let's kind of talk about what the product looks like, because we effectively met you, interviewed you, didn't scare you away too badly. Anyone who listens to the show know David and I can be a interesting team.
Absolutely.
Thanks to Kim. And kind of then set you loose and said, here's our vision, and you ran with it. Including how many, what did we end up with? 130 some businesses to start with?
Yeah, 120, 130, somewhere around there.
In 19 or 20 categories?
Probably.
And you had to figure out where they all kind of...
Yeah, to figure out specifically what we would categorize each business as, and if there's any crossover between them.
And it turned out great.
Yeah.
I'm real excited that we have this. And actually, one of the things I reached out to our career services, and they're like, oh, can we have access to it too? And I'm like, yes, this is what this is for. Mm-hmm. So this is going to actually get used even on campus, let alone by other people. Kim, you're here as an unwilling participant in the podcast.
I was going to ask, why am I here, Matt? Do you mind? Enlighten us.
No, but you're not just on the alumni board. You're not also a former guest on the show, episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because guilt really works on you.
It does.
You
Here's a tip for our
are
listeners.
a business. You are in the directory.
Yes.
What does that kind of you have a business at the accounting firm,
right,
that does have to deal with public contacts, reaching out, getting customers,
right?
And what do you think that adds, having this to that opportunity for you?
I think it's a terrific opportunity for businesses, and so I'm an owner along with my partner Brenda Pulaski at Kotzan CPA and Associates, and I think probably if you ask a lot of business owners, one of the top challenges that we face is recruiting and retention of employees, and that's just really been a challenge, particularly in recent years. So I think being a part of this directory, it's going to be that connection between our firm and the students here at Pitt Johnstown, and whether they're graduating students looking for a full-time position, or whether they're current students looking for an internship, looking for experience, that's important to us to have that connection. And as you know, I think we've talked about before, about half of our staff, now we're a small firm, but about half of our staff are UPJ grads. And we're always excited about interviewing UPJ grads, and we've had wonderful success with them at our firm. And I think they've had good opportunities and good experiences as well. Even Nathan was with us for interning for a semester, and he's still in the accounting program here. So we're proud to say we didn't scare him away from accounting. Happy to say that. So we're always interested in possible interns or even new grads, new hires. So having that connection with Pitt Johnstown and the students here is going to be important for us, I think, going forward, and for a lot of firms could be important as a recruiting tool, because so many hire their interns. So even if it starts out as an internship, they become a new hire, and that's a great way to get to know each other. It's a great way for the students to, to learn the profession a little bit, see if they like it. And it's a great way for the employer to get to know the student and if this would be a good hire for them. And so I think having that connection is important. I also like the idea of, as you mentioned, Matt, alumni supporting each other, and, supporting local businesses, local alumni-owned businesses, and that type of thing. So, if you have your choice, as a customer of any service, if you have your choice between 2 or 3 or 10 vendors for a certain service, and one of them is a Pitt Johnstown alumni-owned business, and you're a Pitt alum, you want to support your fellow alum, and I think that's really a nice connection, community-wise, as well. I think, like you said, this is a community, and it's a local community, and I think it's important to support each other that way. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be a part of it and use this as a resource for our firm.
One thing that is kind of neat that I think is good to be aware of is this is the directory. This is the concept that you still go out, you do you're a customer, do your due diligence and stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean the university is vouching for how good every person is. We couldn't do that part. But I think it is that little bit of a mindset. And I know there are larger kind of pieces that happen in especially in the larger Pitt quote system. But this is our people.
Right.
These are Johnstown people.
Right.
We get buried sometimes in the avalanche of things coming out of Oakland.
Right.
These are our people.
Right.
And these are people that walked in Krebs Hall, and remember, you just saw this morning when you were sitting here talking to me, waiting for the show to start, you saw Jim Alexander walking down the hall.
Right.
Who know these exact.
Right.
You've
got
experience.
that comfort level. You've got that comfort level automatically.
Yeah.
And by sharing that, knowing that you've shared those experiences, I think does bring a comfort, and that folks are looking for in any type of service, whether it's if you're looking for accounting services or something else,
Yeah, just some of the kind of the categories that Nathan you came up with are great: accounting and finance, commercial services, consulting, consumer goods, digital services, education, engineering. We have a lot of engineering forums, and career week is coming up in a couple weeks. We'll be there with the show, which should be pretty fun. Event venues was one I didn't even think about, but we have some event venues, fitness, food services, insurance, landscaping, legal services, marketing, medical, public services, real estate, recreation, technology. These are all great. And so what you can do if you want to see it, and I want to hype this before we kind of keep talking, is it's the webpage, the upj.pitt.edu/alumni first, all one word, all spelled out, ALUMNIFIRST. And you can see the contact information for David if you're like, my business isn't listed. Because I think we're going to get a bunch of those, and we're real excited about that. If you want to get listed, how we're going to do it is he'll take your information, probably work you into like one of the, because he's still going to do the features of the week on the social media, and then once a quarter we're going to update, because I had to commit to something, because I can't keep Nathan forever, and I'm not going to do this every week. update the work, and I'm not teaching David access databases. And then once a quarter we'll put out a new list, and they're just simple. You click the link, find your category. If I go to accounting and finance, I want to look up Kim, I got to look her up. I click accounting and finance, and I get a list of all those companies that fit into it, the name, where they're located, web page, phone number right there for you to use. So again, that's the upj.pitt.edu/alumni first. Also wanted to mention, you'll see our new logo that we did some A/B polling on. Alyssa Locke in the marketing for the campus was the one who came up with that.
It looks really nice.
Which is good.
It's nice.
And you actually part of the internship, Nathan. You met with Alyssa and kind of had that brainstorm.
Yeah.
I sat with her the other day because I didn't know where Alumni First as a concept came from. I like the tagline, and we're going to build a lot around it. Apparently, it was a stream of consciousness from David that somewhere in there was that. This is was a marketing thing. Internships aren't limited, though, just to that.
No.
To marketing.
No. Yeah, so for our division, I mean, we take them for everything. So accounting, finance, economics even, marketing management, and information systems. So I know across the campus, other divisions do their own internships. But for us, we have students in every major. So anybody who is willing to take on somebody we appreciate. And you're not just stuck to that, right? So say, for example, we have a marketing internship. It could also be a little bit of management. It could be a little bit of, information systems with databases and things like that. All of our students, as part of our business curriculum, take all of those intro classes. So even if you're marketing, you're still taking information systems, you're still taking management and finance and accounting. So they at least have some sort of knowledge across, the business concentrations to make sure that they can work in a business environment, because we focus very heavily on the fact you can't stand alone in business, right? You have to work with other people in other divisions and other departments to be able to function. I can't just say, oh, we're going to do this grandiose thing for marketing and then there be zero money in accounting. So we need to make sure that we understand things. So we actually have a lot of students that will start out in one major and double major and minor, but then that opens them doors for other internships because they're more dynamic, they're more diverse in what they can do in the workforce.
It's always been really good. Did you do an internship?
I did.
I did one when I was here. Did you remember? Where was yours?
I was at Conemaugh Health System. So It was my last semester as an undergrad. And then I stayed on. I actually turned down a full-time job right after graduation. I stayed on for a second internship with them in HR. Then I went and I got my master's. And then literally that was my first full-time job. Somebody just happened to be leaving their department. I ran into my former supervisor and she said, hey, positions coming open, you might want to apply. And that's how I got my full-time job there. And I was there for almost 10 years. But I made that connection through the internship that I had. And a lot of our students have that, right? That they start as an internship and then even if it's not right away, it might eventually lead into a full-time job. Mm-hmm. We've had great success, I'd say, for the last 2 years with a lot of students getting full-time job right after graduation because of their internships.
Did you do one, Kim?
I did not do an internship. No, I didn't.
Do you want to do one now? Nathan's going to move on. Do you want
have
one
an opening for me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not big into databases. I'm not sure that that's my skill set. But at any rate, our most recent new hire was an intern as well. Mm-hmm. Evan Kunrad at our office. He started out as an intern, and I think it was the summer after his junior year. We brought him on, and then he interned for us his entire senior year, and then we hired him when he graduated. Mm-hmm. And from Pitt Johnstown, absolutely. So we were excited about that. So I love to hear those internship success stories. You certainly had one. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot.
I did not work where I did my internship then.
You did not.
I did, but I ended up over in Southmont Borough because they did not have a mapping program. They had a retiring gentleman who wrote everything down on little bits of paper.
Oh, no.
And then they realized maybe the computer was a good idea. So I spent a summer making borough maps and stuff. And that's how I still to this day, I work with Steve Kocius on different things that come up, the county GIS manager and different stuff.
Yeah, you do a lot of municipal work now.
So it's kind of one of those weird things that stays with you.
Right.
You'll never be free of us, Nathan.
Well, I was just going to add, for the networking you kind of alluded to there, we've had also several students that if they didn't get a full-time job where they had interned, they met people through that internship, right? And we talk so much about networking, and even if it's out of, the Pitt system, kind of our network of alum, we've had students that have interned at one place and they have connections across the country, and now they're working for, just relocating and work for different businesses. So I think that networking opportunity also, with how broad the Pitt Johnstown alumni are, but then also their connections beyond that. So I think it's just a great base for them to get out and get that, we always say that real world experience, and that's what it is. And it leads to great opportunities beyond that.
Where are you at, Nathan, in this cycle? Are you graduating? When do you graduate?
I graduate December of next year.
Okay, so you got a little bit of time left. Do you know do you know what you want to do then when you graduate?
No.
Okay.
He's working on it.
You've got some time to figure it out.
That's fine. Like I tell my classes, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up either.
Yeah.
And
but you know what, I do want to, I've been working with Nathan with some internships and things, and he has a really great mindset, and I think a lot of our students do that. He's open to a variety of experiences, and I think that's so important that some students get so stuck on, I have to do this, this is what I've wanted to do for forever. And then they actually get to that job and they're like kind of disappointed. And they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. We actually had one alum, she actually comes in and speaks in my marketing research class. And she was so creative, right? She was an artist by trade, and I want to get in marketing and do the creative. And she worked for the PA lottery. She did all like the Gus the Groundhog stuff and all of that. Right. And then after a while, she got burnt out. She's like, art wasn't enjoyable anymore because she was doing it for work constantly.
Once it's a job, it changes it sometimes.
Yeah, but then what she found is she fell in love with the data side of marketing that people often overlook, like the databases and the analysis of consumer behavior and things. And she does that full time now. She works for a company called Numerator, and we've actually gotten some additional alumni in there because of that connection.
We heard someone at our business reunion last year was from there, right?
Why's my brain?
I say Laura Johnson is the one who is who talks to my class, and then Maddie Walker, who had
That's what I'm
interviewed.
thinking. Maddie's been on the show.
Yeah. So Maddie works there now. I think she's just got expanded. I think to Canada as part of her workload. But I think that's important that, again, there's no experience that's a bad experience, and kind of learning that as you go. But having a great mindset and being willing to explore things and just see how things go, I think that's a great thing to kind of instill in our students.
It's really great, and the idea that it's this, I can't highlight the fact enough. Now, Nathan, you were so critical in this coming in, because we were able just to here's a vision, here's the pieces we have, and you came back with a finished thing. And that is not something that is a given in a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it was a very big help, and we're really excited to kind of kick this off today as a project that is now going to be live and out there, and people are going to use. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it if you didn't give me the pieces that you did, like show me how to use Access as a way of kind of putting the database together.
The funny thing is, talk about how we typically do things in the wrong order. Mm-hmm. You kind of, for a very brief primer, had to kind of put the pieces together after I got you started on Access, and away you go.
Yeah.
You're currently taking my Access database and applications.
Yes.
So we're doing this backwards.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm sure that course is a breeze now, right, Nathan?
Yeah. We haven't gotten to Access yet.
Okay.
But you're going to be very comfortable when we get to Access.
Hopefully I know what I'm doing.
So, no, that's an amazing project. But there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. David would be unhappy if I didn't remind people that we keep an eye on for our social media for the upcoming information about the UPJ basketball teams down in Pittsburgh, homecoming coming up at the end of October here, and that sort of stuff. But internally to these departments, stuff go on, including a bunch of stuff we have going on in business.
Yeah, so we bring alumni back for a variety of things. Guests in class. So I had mentioned Laura and Maddie. They come back to teach for marketing research and kind of talk about their careers. But every spring we have the business forum. That's been going on since I was a student here, forever ago, it feels like. But we bring back alumni from the business program specifically to talk about what they're doing now, kind of helpful tips to current students in terms of, everything from do you go to grad school and when do you go to grad school versus what's that transition from college to corporate America, things that they wish they would have done differently, things that worked really well for them. So if there's any alumni that ever want to come back to speak for that, that's in the spring every year. And we are open to anyone and everyone who would like to come back and share their thoughts on that.
Best contact is you?
Yes.
I will put your email in the description
Okay,
of the
perfect.
show.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so anybody who wants to do that. And then the business club also, we've been rotating a couple events here. So last year in the fall, we did our first ever mock networking event, which was kind of interesting. So you think about anywhere that you go to an event, right? You go to a wedding, you go to a fundraising dinner, you go to a gala, you go wherever, and there's always that opportunity for networking with people, right? That's the sole part. That's probably how you get a lot of your business too, right?
Absolutely.
Connecting with people.
Absolutely.
And, we talk about it in class, but we don't actually have the opportunity for our students to do that, right? How do you randomly go up and start talking to someone that you don't know? Or better yet, how do you get out of a conversation whenever you're like, this is done, I don't want to be here anymore? And how do you kind of, do it in a respectful, professional manner? So we had several local business professionals come to campus, and we had, several dozen students sign up, and we just did a little networking event, and it was literally like there's, some snacks and things, and even just how do you go up and get your little tray of veggies without being weird about it while you're talking to somebody, all that stuff that you don't even think about until you actually experience it. And we actually had a lot of students connect with internship opportunities. The local professionals loved it because they thought it was a great, kind of hands-on experience. And students were very excited about how they got more comfortable just talking to people, right? Even their own classmates, they mentioned. There's students in my class I've never talked to, and that was an opportunity to kind of talk with them. So that was a really great event. So we're going to do that like every other fall. So this fall, we're actually going to do a business etiquette dinner. I don't know if you remember years ago, Debbie DeFrancesco had started one. And then it kind of fell to the wayside, and then we had COVID and all of that. So we're going to bring it back, but kind of teaching, again, students, you have that networking on the outside, but then you go in for the actual dinner and how do you stand up when someone comes to your table to shake their hands, and which fork do you use, and how do you let the waitress know that you're done with your meal and things like that. So we're going to bring in a couple alumni for that as well to kind of mix and mingle with the students as they're sitting and kind of just talking and networking and things like that. So, but we have people come in for, clients for different class projects. I know Skip Glenn, he does a lot with like hands-on activities. Shark Tank, we do the Shark Tank panel. That's our entrepreneurship class. So they come in and pitch ideas to those folks.
If anyone's interested in some of the stuff that Skip has done in the spring, about 15 episodes back, give or take, Skip and his entire class was on talking about a project.
They did a great job. Yeah. So just a lot of opportunities. And honestly, we're always open to anything. We really pride ourselves on being a small campus and being able to provide that hands-on interactive experience. Whenever I was an intern host, whenever I was at Conemaugh, I would host interns, and I'd get students from all these big name universities, and they were great. But I'd say, okay, well, show me something that you've done. And they'd be like, well, we just talked about it in theory. We didn't actually do it. Because they had 300 kids in their class. They had 400 kids in their class. And it was just, they couldn't physically do it. And here, it's, here's your tangible project. Here's a research project you worked on. Here's a client that you actually worked with. Here's, a network that I came up with through this project. So just kind of nice to give them that opportunity to learn, but then also build their portfolio after that. So, yeah, we're always open to everything, but we're trying to build what we do with alumni and getting folks back here.
Those are terrific skills that you're instilling, whether it's an etiquette dinner, the networking, and that stuff's so important. I remember doing those types of things when I was here.
Yeah.
And going through a business lunch.
Right.
And sitting through a business lunch, and how do you work that, and I remember even when I was here too, local businesses would participate in coming in to do mock interviews.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that was a big program, the mock interview program, assistance with resume writing.
Yes.
Things like that. So all of those things that you're doing, that's great. I hope that the students really take you up on those opportunities.
Yeah,
because they're terrific and they're helpful. And
staying connected, in the business world, especially with career services, Kim Shook and all of them, networking with our alumni and just saying, what's the latest thing? Like, what are you guys looking for on resumes? Mm-hmm. And, she found out great information about like their AI bots that read resumes, and you can't use a template because it messes up all of the information, and just things like that we don't necessarily think of in academia, but, kind of what's happening out there in corporate America to kind of help our students be prepared for it.
See, I came up on this side of the house, so I still have never broken talk about etiquette. My habit of when I'm done on a phone conversation, I just hang up.
So Matt is going to need your etiquette course. And actually, I'd like to participate in the how to get out of an uncomfortable conversation. I'd like that
You
course
know you've
myself.
been there,
Oh,
though.
absolutely.
Yeah, and you're just like,
Absolutely.
someone come save me. How do I get out of this? But yeah, no, I mean, there's a professional way to do it, right? So, especially some of our students, especially with technology, right? They're so quick to be on their phones and things like that. But our students are so respectful in class, which we really appreciate, and just kind of translating that into corporate America, right? How do you kind of have that social ability to just go up and randomly start talking to somebody? Because you
Right.
never know who you're going to meet and what opportunity they're going to provide.
And
so,
something as simple as eye contact.
Yes,
And
yeah.
smiling.
And handshakes
Handshakes,
and,
those types of things. And especially, today, like you said, everybody's on their phone and everybody's kind of doing everything digitally. And I think we're losing some of that.
Right.
So that interpersonal stuff is so important. And I think this whole project is more opportunity to bring people together to work on that.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Kim, if somebody wants to use your accounting services, how can they get a hold of you?
They can go to our website, and now they can go to the alumni site, the Alumni First site, and find us. But they can go to our website at kotzancpa.com.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Nathan, what's on the schedule for today? My class at 2, right?
Yes.
Anything else?
Business ethics at 1, and nothing between there.
Okay, very good. Well, again, Nathan, on behalf of the entire Alumni Association, thank you for everything and getting this project off the ground. It's one of those things I hope in 15 years when it's super successful and people are making all kind of business connections, they can give you. We should have negotiated a percentage, but that'll be that's a problem for the future.
You're quite welcome.
And I want to thank everyone for tuning in again this week. upj.pitt.edu/alumni first will get you to that directory. We're launching today, as you hear this, on the 24th of September. Very exciting. If you want to contact David, his information's there on the page as well as below. If you're a business and say, hey, wait, I'm not listed, that's probably because we don't know about you. Tell us. We want to talk to you. We're really excited about that. And until next week, which is going to be, I think we have something fun coming up for a big project that's on campus for next week. So until then, for David, who's, again, still not here, and myself, I want to tell you all to have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday. The Tuck Shop podcast is recorded live on the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown campus. Update your contact information with us by visiting johnstown.pitt.edu/alumni. Connect with us online via Facebook and LinkedIn, or consider donating to the university at give2, that's giveto.pitt.edu/giveupj.
This has been a production of Quantum Wave Media. Views expressed do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown.